Hello and welcome back to the channel. On today's video we're going to be covering the new 2024 HHA Tetra Max Rise X3. It's kind of a mouthful. However, this is something that I was hoping HHA was going to kind of dive into for the 2024 season. As you guys might know or may not know, I had a Kingpin that had a 3-pin housing, and then I had my Spot Hog, which also had a 3-pin housing. I liked both, but the one thing that I loved about my Spot Hog was the 3-pin indicator. And now that HHA has a dedicated 3-pin indicator system for this site, it was a no-brainer for me to go back to HHA, as I've always preferred HHA's system. We'll kind of cover why I prefer HHA's system over Spot Hog. Both are great sites. Both have lots of options. Most of the features on this site I really like. However, there's one feature that I don't like, and we'll dive right into that right now. And it's this scope housing. This scope housing is an 1 5/8" housing. And I understand why they did it. They did it so that you can get maximum yardage out of it. However, for me, I just prefer 1 3/4 to 2-inch housing, preferably the 1 3/4, for framing out my peep. And I know a lot of people like the 3/16 peep. I really like a 1/4-inch peep. I feel like I get a lot more light and I can see the target longer and I can see my pins longer in a hunting situation. So I definitely prefer a 1/4-inch peep. So what I did to mitigate that is I just got, this is called a bonus ring. It's just a silicone ring that goes around the outside of this housing so I can frame my peep properly. I'm also running this sight as close to my riser as possible. It's just always been a preference for me, and especially with this one, with the smaller housing, I needed to run it closer. So when I ordered this, I opted for the shorter dovetail bar, as I didn't need all this extra dovetail hanging out behind my riser. Followed up by some of the positive features that I've always liked about HHA. One is the gear system. The gear system is super solid in these. It's very sturdy, it grips well. The lock and unlock feature is smooth and easy to operate with one hand when it's mounted on the bow for ease of use and ease of locking. The gears are solid. The thing I really like about the Max over the other styles, if you guys are not familiar, the Max comes with a slight little dust cover here that covers all your gears, so you're far less likely to get a bunch of debris in here that might clog up these gears. The other ones are open on the side, so you could see all these gears all the way through. Also on the Max, the wheel is detachable, so I can take this wheel off, put a different wheel on if I have different arrow setups, or if I want to use a setup tape. Lucky for me, I have a handful of these wheels laying around from previous sites I've owned. So it's kind of nice to be able to switch from different setups. The other thing that I'm really excited about is the 3 indicators. This system is far more user-friendly than the Spot Hog version, in my opinion, because the Spot Hog version also moves up and down. And if you get it too close to the tapes, you can actually rip into your tapes. This is a hard set system that is built into the housing, and I much appreciate this, and I like the feel and operation of this a lot better as well. Now, one thing HHA still does not offer is a first axis adjustment. To me, on this site, it was not a big deal because the first axis is dead nuts. I mean, you can't get any more level than what this first axis is set. However, I wish they did have the adjustment just to have it, but it's not there, and it is set perfectly, so I'm not entirely worried about it. Your second axis adjustment is right in here, and then your third axis adjustment is right here. And all of them work flawlessly and perform great, just like we have all come accustomed to with HHA products. The other nice thing that I like about this site over my previous Kingpin is this bar. This bar has been on the last few models of HHAs for the last couple of years. So if you guys have bought a brand new HHA in the last couple of years, you probably have this bar. You're able to swap out the scope housings, and you have macro and micro adjust all in this bar, which is very friendly. The other thing that this does is it also has your individual pin adjustments. I would like to see them come out with a micro adjust feature. However, there are markings on the side here so that you kind of know where you're at for reference marks. And if you're using a full-size Allen wrench tool, it can be kind of difficult to get in here with this knob here. So a small L-shaped Allen wrench definitely works best for adjusting these when you do need to adjust them. Other than that, the sight is very, very robust and very, very light. Compared to my Spot Hog, I lost about 4 ounces from my Fast Eddie XL that also had a dovetail. So that was a nice little weight savings that I gained moving back to the HHA. Also, HHA's customer service is lifetime. So if I ever did have any issues with this, I can send it back to HHA and they will fix it free of charge. The other nice thing with this housing is it is built on the same rail and frame platform as the other Tetra series sights. So you can swap this housing out for the 4-pin, the 2-pin, a single pin, whatever you want to do, you can swap these housings out for the other housings that HHA offers, or an Ultra View housing, whatever tickles your fancy. The other nice thing that the newer sights have, the Rise and the Tetra Maxes have, that the Kingpin did not have, is the rolling rheostat adjustment right here to brighten and dim your pins. They did have a system that did brighten and dim your pins, but it was not as user-friendly as this function here. You can attach a light to this. I'm not going to run a light on it, but you can attach a light to it if you want, and it does come with the light bracket to attach. Other than that, I'm pretty excited to use this sight coming into this year. I've always been an HHA fan. I've always preferred HHA because of the wheel on the outside. I'm kind of hoping that in the future there's an option that we can swap this out for the magnified version on one of these pins, or even all of them. That would be a nice additional feature, but definitely not necessary, as these individual pins are a little bit more accurate, and I do like how they have them recessed in here for ease of use. Overall, if you guys are on the fence and you guys like 3-pin sliders, definitely give this sight a look, because HHA has never offered a 3-pin indicator system in the past, and they have a smaller housing for some folks that do like that smaller housing and a little bit more accuracy in the long term. So with that being said, that's the end of my initial thoughts review. We'll definitely have some videos out of me shooting this at distance once it gets a little bit warmer here in Minnesota. But again, HHA, I think you guys did a great job, and I can't wait to see you guys build upon this platform in the future. With that being said, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.